Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here with you today and a privilege to introduce Commander Brian Rauer. By way of context, and I think the speakers earlier today highlighted well the reason that we're having this conversation, namely the capabilities that exist today, the innovation that's occurring across the industry, academic sphere, and government sphere, as well as the opportunity that we need to take advantage of that into the future. So under the GEOINT committee, we have embarked on several initiatives to understand how commercial technologies and capabilities are being used today. In fact, just last month, we pulled together several hundred members from across this community to talk to exactly that issue. The next step will be to broaden that conversation to our international partners, and then with the commercial GEOINT activity, from whom you'll be hearing later today, to bring that conversation to industry in a more productive way. But the bottom line is that we need to look at how we are leveraging and fully leveraging those capabilities today, and we need to posture ourselves for how we are going to leverage them in the future. So Commander Brian Rauer is going to talk about several initiatives and several things we've done over the last year to do exactly that, to look at not only the usability, how we might use these capabilities to address our mission needs, and then how we might integrate them with other sources of information to ensure advantage. So with that, allow me to introduce Commander Brian Rauer.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. As you know, I'm Commander Brian Rauer. Been a naval officer now for 22 years. It's been amazing. My first 4 years, I was a surface warfare officer, and I've been an intel officer for 18 years, and I've been working for Mr. Gard-Weiss for about 6 months now. So it's very, very interesting, and I'd like to think I helped bring the warfighter perspective to the NSG. So thank you for letting me speak today about commercial integration. And what I'd like to speak about here is the initiative I will discuss today advances the NSG's goal to accelerate seamless integration. Essentially, in a nutshell, interoperability makes information available to anyone who can benefit and provide them tools and know-how to create and share value with other members of the enterprise. I'm highlighting a GEOINT integration effort supported by the Multi-Agency Collaboration Environment, or MACE. The MACE is a government industry partnership endorsed in the 2010 National Defense Authorization Act. It was established to improve the processes, technology, and culture that shape government requirements for enterprise information sharing. Its resources include people, ideas, technology, tools, and data. The government and industry partners, some of whom are represented in the graphic you see here, they tackle complex data and analytic challenges. Analytic sprints were designated to enable insight and flexibility regarding commercial innovation. The specific challenge was to identify and track mobile targets through a combination of commercial, GEOINT, and publicly available information. 4 sprints were conducted in 2016, each becoming more complex with regards to scenario, the tools, and the sources. Each sprint relied upon open source data and analytics to support tipping and queuing of other sources or solve complex problems through imagery analysis and to use advanced algorithms to detect and track mobile targets. The first sprint was focused on commercial imagery, electro-optical imagery, AIS, in a friendly weather environment. The second and third sprints increased in complexity, tracking mobile weapons systems over land, adding synthetic aperture radar, and an unfriendly weather environment. The fourth sprint integrated additional sources, tools, and overall provided a better understanding of the possibilities in utilizing commercial systems and analytics to supplement or complement national technical means. Let's take a look at the first sprint in greater detail here. What you see here are some screenshots generated by various tools using a synthesized and open source information as inputs. The scenario responded to a partner's need to better understand the refugee flow from Libya to Italy. The sprint relied on historical, commercial, electro-optical imagery, and AIS. AIS is Automatic Identification System. It's a maritime collision avoidance system that broadcasts vessel information on maritime radio bands. Essentially provides the vessel name, pertinent data, where its next destination, what type of ship it is. Sometimes it even has cargo. Essentially, an imagery product was fused with the AIS data, established, let the sprint team kind of understand and see some abnormalities, and took a look at the whole maritime vessel using this maritime vessel was loitering and using a Libyan port and essentially going in and out of the same area, loitering for a time, and then coming back to that port. When the team combined these products and then looked at social media, they discovered both the name of the vessel and its purpose. Essentially, it was an NGO recovering deceased refugees at sea and then returning them to Libya. Let's go ahead and skip to the fourth sprint, the most complicated sprint. And this is really a good look under the hood. This is to see how the MACE assesses the pairings of capabilities and use case scenarios. The scenarios looked at force protection and contingency planning for a national security special event in the 2020 timeframe. The scenario projected access to 600 satellites and 80 tools for processing, analysis, and mission management. The MACE dashboard puts the human on the loop, providing the analyst the ability to develop the best collection strategy based on the key intelligence question, funding, and an ability to complement national technical means. MACE is developing what they call an enterprise engine, or essentially the GEOINT requirements analytical interface. Essentially, it generates a complex interoperability code using artificial intelligence-based ontologies and can be used in conjunction with object detection and classification systems for targeting missions. Essentially, Grail is a behind the scenes. What it's doing is it's leveraging neural networks, analytics, and the user interface. The user can customize the operating picture to integrate disparate tools, data, algorithms, systems, collection platforms, and networks to solve problems. I guess what we'd like to say is it gives them the best of breed and the ability to shape available commercial resources to get after, to solve the problem they're working to solve. And here's the key takeaways. The commercial GEOINT future is rapidly expanding and will provide improved revisit rates, spectral diversity, and promise of greater insight. If we can leverage these commercial approaches, that's what's imperative. We are working our way toward an operating model that provides GEOINT content from all the diversifying supplier bases to address increasingly complex customer needs. We are tapping into the global geospatial content markets to make data-driven decisions on GEOINT content acquisition. Agile contracting solutions allow us to access and integrate unclassified GEOINT into the intelligence community and DoD workflows. This next slide, with all that said, this next slide discusses kind of a process. As you are well aware, the commercial market is greatly going to expand. And we need to act quickly on new GEOINT sources that satisfy these requirements. And as you can see, we need to identify and then evaluate and assess those commercial utility and how it could be used across the entire NSG. Then we need to decide and contract and then execute. And that execution needs to be flexible. It needs to be well understood by all users so we can share the purchase of these commercial services with multiple stakeholders. And then we need to go and appraise. After several months of acting on this flexible contract, we need to go in and talk to that vendor and say, hey, we just talked to our customer. This really isn't working out. Can we tweak this a little bit? And that vendor says, no, we can't do that. So then we look to cancel that contract. We go on and we find a vendor that's able to satisfy our customer requirements. So that's going to create a lot of flexibility. So we envision a future in which the NSG members understand what is available and to be able to make investments to advance the enterprise as a whole. In the future state, legal and security aspects are fully developed and easily understood. GEOINT copyrights to support the mission are respected, and operational security measures to protect the mission and operations are maintained. So how do we bring it all together? So we are leading a process to help us get from here to there, to develop an enterprise-wide picture towards products and services aligned with mission requirements. However, there are a number of challenges. Interagency coordination from needs and requirements, operational safeguards, and architecture integration are just some of the challenges that we are looking at right now. But this is a new paradigm, and it's difficult to switch off the tried and true solutions that we have in place. But we need to take in these novel capabilities. We are laying plans for similar conversations with allied governments and industry partners to better understand their unique capabilities and future opportunities for collaboration. We are building a roadmap for community members to make sound decisions in acquisition and utilization of commercially available products and services to employ those best suited to mission needs. In the end, it's all about delivering comprehensive solutions to policymakers, first responders, federal services, and warfighters. Please stop by the NSG booth at number 539 to talk to the subject matter experts. Thank you for your time.